It vanished behind the sun, and astronomers thought the story was over. But then 3I Atlas came back, and what they saw stopped every conversation in every observatory on Earth. The first images captured on Halloween night revealed something that shouldn't exist according to everything we know about cometary physics. A celestial object glowing blue, defying the sun's gravity, and breaking nearly every law that governs how matter behaves in space. It wasn't just unusual, it was impossible. And as telescopes around the world locked onto this returning visitor from another star system, one terrifying realization began to spread among scientists. 3 Atlas was changing, and not in ways anyone could explain. When 3 Atlas re-emerged from solar conjunction, it carried with it the fingerprints of a journey older than the solar system itself. Spectroscopic analysis revealed that its surface was covered in an organic crust, not a thin film, but a layer 15 to 20 meters thick, forged by billions of years of exposure to galactic radiation. Cosmic rays from exploding stars and colliding black holes had bombarded its surface for up to 11 billion years, creating and destroying complex carbon chains in an endless cycle. It wasn't just an interstellar comet. It was a time capsule older than Earth, a survivor of galactic epochs. But the more scientists learned about it, the less sense it made. Comets are supposed to be dirty snowballs, mostly frozen water. This one was almost entirely carbon dioxide, 6 times more abundant than water, with a spectral signature that glowed deep red from the carbon-rich material coating its body. Its composition wasn't just strange. It was unique, something no telescope had ever recorded before. Then came the moment that rewrote the rules of astronomy. As 3I Atlas approached perihelion, its closest point to the sun, it didn't fade or fragment like normal comets. It exploded in brilliance. Within hours, it became bluer than the sun itself in certain wavelengths, outshining every model prediction by orders of magnitude. Space-based observatories like Stereo, SOHO, and GOES 19 all captured the same impossible transformation. A body made of ice and dust radiating with the energy of a star. The data didn't fit any natural mechanism. If ice was sublimating, releasing jets of vapor, then the comet should have lost billions of tons of mass, leaving a massive cloud of debris that no telescope detected. Instead, it remained intact. No fragmentation, no trail. The light curve was exponential, its energy output increasing faster than any known thermal process could account for. Something inside the object was releasing power in a way no comet ever had. For a few hours, 3 Atlas behaved less like a natural body and more like a machine waking up. If the composition was shocking, the motion was worse. 3 Atlas wasn't moving like a random interstellar object. Its orbit was retrograde, moving opposite the planets, yet almost perfectly aligned with the ecliptic plane within just 5 degrees. It threaded through the solar system in a sequence of flybys so precisely coordinated that the odds of them occurring by chance were less than 1 in 20,000. It passed near Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, yet avoided every direct line of sight from Earth during its brightest phase, a trajectory so statistically perfect that it looked calculated. When radio data came in from the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, the comet's position was off by 4 arcseconds, far beyond what could be explained by gravitational lensing. It was accelerating, changing speed without any known cause. The idea of non-gravitational acceleration terrified physicists because it meant one of two things. Either 3I Atlas was venting gas in ways unseen and impossible under known thermodynamics, or it was being propelled by something else entirely. By the time November arrived, the list of impossibilities had grown to 9. Its nickel-to-iron ratio matched that of engineered alloys, not natural cosmic dust. Its light polarization was so extreme that it broke existing scattering models. It emitted jets that pointed directly toward the sun, something no comet had ever done before. And its water content was barely 4% compared to the 70% typical of every other known comet. Each anomaly could perhaps be explained on its own, but together they defied probability. The odds of all 9 occurring in one object were less than 1 in a billion. That's when whispers began to circulate through the astronomy community: private conversations, encrypted emails, late-night conference calls. What if this wasn't about natural physics anymore? What if the problem wasn't the data but our assumptions? Because if the trajectory, the composition, and the acceleration weren't random, then someone, or something, built 3I Atlas to move this way. When the 9th anomaly was confirmed, something shifted inside the scientific world. For decades, astronomers had fought to stay within the borders of explainable physics. But now, those borders were crumbling. In the early hours of November 3rd, NASA quietly convened a closed emergency meeting, a gathering that included specialists from the European Space Agency, the Chinese National Space Administration, and the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Officially, it was listed as a data reconciliation symposium. Unofficially, it was a crisis summit. Inside that room, what was shared would never reach the public. The James Webb Telescope had been observing 3I Atlas continuously for 48 hours, capturing spectral emissions so pure they could only come from one thing: a controlled thermal process. The comet's infrared profile showed a pulse pattern repeating every 247 seconds, modulating between high and low energy states like a signal. Dr. Jianyu Li, a Chinese plasma physicist on the call, pointed out something chilling. The rhythm wasn't random. It matched a hydrogen absorption frequency, precisely the same fundamental constant encoded on Voyager's golden record. When NASA ran the signal through Fourier analysis, they found harmonic frequencies layered like chords in a song. Someone in the room whispered, "It's communicating." No one laughed. Then came the light flare, an event that changed everything. On November 6th, multiple observatories across South America and Southern Africa recorded a sudden, blinding pulse of blue-white light from 3 Atlas. The flash lasted only 5 seconds but outshone Venus at its peak brightness, despite the object being nearly 300 million kilometers away. The energy output was astronomical, equivalent to detonating thousands of hydrogen bombs per second. Yet there was no heat signature, no fragmentation, no visible debris. When the James Webb's instruments refocused, the object looked unchanged. Even more baffling, the light spectrum revealed something impossible: a small but distinct absorption gap at exactly 1420 MHz, the frequency of neutral hydrogen, also known as the cosmic calling channel, used by SETI for decades to search for alien life. It was as though the flare wasn't light in the normal sense. It was information. Across the world, scientists went silent. Some thought it was coincidence, a natural resonance amplified by solar wind. But those who had seen the raw data knew better. The hydrogen gap wasn't noise. It was intentional. While NASA and ESA scrambled to explain the spectral anomalies, the Chinese Fast Radio Observatory began picking up something even stranger: a low, pulsing hum at 247-second intervals. The same pattern observed by the James Webb was now echoing across the radio spectrum, originating from the same direction as 3I Atlas. The signal didn't behave like a normal transmission. It curved through magnetic fields, bending around Earth's ionosphere as if responding to interference. The amplitude changed depending on the time of day, growing stronger each time the sun dipped below the horizon. When the signal was decoded into its base frequency, it revealed something that left even the skeptics uneasy: a harmonic ladder extending precisely 9 octaves, corresponding exactly to the 9 physical anomalies scientists had catalogued in 3I Atlas. It was as if each impossible behavior, the wrong trajectory, the strange composition, the reverse jets, the non-gravitational acceleration, was now being played back as sound. The discovery suggested a horrifying possibility. 3I Atlas wasn't breaking the laws of physics, it was demonstrating them. As the signal continued, new anomalies began to appear, not in space, but here on Earth. Magnetic observatories detected microfluctuations in the planet's field, pulsing in the same 247-second rhythm. Atmospheric sensors in Chile and Australia recorded subtle temperature spikes synchronized with each pulse, while satellites orbiting Mars captured faint electromagnetic echoes following the same pattern. Every frequency pointed back to 3I Atlas. Then came the final blow. High-resolution data from the James Webb revealed that the comet's nucleus had changed shape. It was no longer a sphere, but a near-perfect hexagonal structure, each side emitting light in sequence like panels on a colossal machine. Every 247 seconds, the hexagon completed a rotation. And for a split second, its geometry aligned directly with Earth's orbital path. When plotted on a cosmic map, those alignments traced straight lines intersecting with the positions of known interstellar objects. Oumuamua, Borisov, and 2 recently discovered faint bodies still moving through deep space. Together, they formed a pattern, a vast grid spanning across light years. 3 Atlas wasn't alone. It was part of something much larger, a network woven into the fabric of the galaxy itself. When the data from all observatories, NASA, ESA, and China's FAST, were finally merged, a single terrifying truth emerged. The pattern was real. The positions of 3I Atlas, Oumuamua, Borisov, and the 2 faint newcomers formed a geometric alignment that couldn't possibly occur by chance. 5 points in space, each separated by millions of kilometers, yet connected by straight, perfect lines, all intersecting at one specific coordinate. The outer edge of our solar system near where Voyager 1 had vanished from contact months before. The odds of that formation being natural were beyond astronomical. It was, statistically speaking, designed. At first, the team thought it was just coincidence, a trick of perspective, an alignment seen only from Earth's vantage point. But then the pattern began to move. Using composite imaging from the James Webb Telescope and data from the Deep Space Network, researchers noticed that each object in the formation emitted a pulse, faint but synchronized. Every 247 seconds, they all flashed in unison, as if following a universal clock. When those pulses were plotted against time, they formed something new, a fractal spiral converging on a single point in space. The coordinates matched the region behind Neptune, a place where no known object existed. And yet, telescopes detected a faint ultraviolet glow radiating from that exact location, growing stronger with every passing cycle. NASA called it a field anomaly. The Chinese Academy of Sciences called it a resonant convergence, but those who saw the full simulation called it something else, a signal source. The geometry, the pulse, the hydrogen gap, the anomalous acceleration, they weren't random phenomena. They were instructions. Together, they formed a massive interstellar array. A galactic-scale network built not of machines, but of natural bodies re-engineered to transmit through physics itself. Comets, asteroids, and interstellar objects, all behaving as nodes in a communication lattice, using light, gravity, and resonance as their language. The laws of comet physics weren't being broken. They were being rewritten. The implications were immediate and staggering. For decades, humanity had searched for radio waves, thinking extraterrestrial intelligence would speak in sound. But what if communication wasn't linguistic at all? What if it was structural, encoded in the very fabric of matter and motion, hidden inside the rhythm of celestial mechanics? As the model expanded, new alignments appeared. Hundreds of potential nodes scattered across the Milky Way, all connected through geometry and timing like neurons in a galactic brain. The more scientists looked, the clearer the picture became. 3 Atlas wasn't alone. It was part of an entire system, something ancient, deliberate, and impossibly vast. Then came the final discovery. Deep in the spectroscopic data from 3I Atlas's blue flare, buried beneath layers of noise, analysts found an energy signature unlike anything ever observed, a harmonic ratio that matched the Schumann resonance of Earth's atmosphere down to the 1,000th decimal. The pulse that had once seemed random was now perfectly synchronized with our planet. 3 Atlas wasn't just broadcasting, it was listening. And as its hexagonal core completed another full rotation, a faint echo returned through the hydrogen line, not from deep space, but from Earth's own ionosphere. The same frequency, the same 247-second rhythm, but reversed, as if the planet itself had just answered. NASA's official report concluded that further analysis is ongoing. But inside the classified appendices, the language changed. The alignment wasn't just a discovery. It was an activation. Whatever had begun when 3I Atlas re-emerged from behind the sun was still unfolding, still synchronizing. And if the models were right, the next major pulse, the point of total resonance, would occur on March 11, 2031. No one knows what will happen then. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Maybe the universe will speak again, not through words or light, but through a pattern, one so vast that humanity won't even realize it's been answering all along. So if this story made you question what's really moving above us, if you've ever wondered whether the stars are silent or just speaking in a language we've forgotten how to hear, don't look away. Subscribe to this channel, because when that next pulse reaches Earth, it won't just change what we know about comets. It will change what we know about ourselves.